Hello, I'm Bernard Savage. I'm director of Size 10 Half Boots. We're a specialist business development agency that works in the professional service sector to help firms and individuals grow. What I'd like to do over the next 30 minutes or so is to talk to you about networking, but more specifically to debunk a lot of myths and misconceptions and share with you some practical stuff that you may not have heard before necessarily. So the way that I'm going to do that is I'll start off by debunking a lot of nonsense that's frankly is talked about networking and indeed business development. Then I'm going to move on to some practical stuff and going to share with you some tips on how to get better outcomes from your networking. And then I'm going to leave you with some ideas around how to get started and put together a more strategic networking plan. So what are these myths? The way this slide works that you can see in front of you is the darker shade of blue. These are the myths. And then below, I go on to debunk those myths. So let me walk you across left to right. So let's starting with this myth. Networking is just for extroverts. No, it isn't, not necessarily. One of the advantages that less extrovert people have is they typically are indeed better listeners and pick up on things perhaps because they're more attuned to what people are saying. And when it comes to networking, one of the areas that's fundamental to success and often done poorly is follow-up. So actually, those people who are less extrovert, who are listening attentively, are more likely to pick up the clues, which then can be used afterwards in the follow-up. Myth number two, networking is about talking to strangers. No, it isn't, or no, it doesn't need to be. Some of the best networking that you can do is actually about nurturing relationships with people that you do know, either existing clients or perhaps lapsed contacts. It's about getting to know people better and broadening the scope of that conversation. So it's certainly not all about talking to strangers.